All right, here it comes.
There we go.
And Noble.
I mean, it just makes me feel good about me.
We like to start
I
your
wonder if I
Fridays
could
off
get my
right.
wife and my kids to do that for me.
You've asked that several times, and I'm going to tell you.
I mean, I know
no.
a judge won't, but shouldn't my wife do that for me? Just
Well,
and
should maybe,
Noble.
but it's not going to happen.
No, never.
I was going to say, you need to set your expectations
Yeah,
a little
lower.
lower.
Lowered
a little lower.
expectations.
But I tell her, I said, but I'm Noble McIntyre. She doesn't care. We met when we were 19. She's not impressed.
That was pre Noble McIntyre.
Oh, I
The
wasn't Noble
McIntyre. You were
McIntyre.
a Noble McIntyre, not the
My
Noble
youngest daughter tells me all the time, she goes, you know, Dad, when we go out, she goes, I see how people talk to you and treat you with such respect. She goes, they don't know that you're weird. And I was like, I'm not weird. She goes, you hold me down, you bite me on the end of the nose. Because I do it to her all the time. I bite her on the end of the nose. She goes, that's weird. And she goes, and they don't know that. I said, well, we shouldn't tell anybody.
Well, now they
Yeah,
all
we
know.
just did.
I'm a nose biter.
Wow. Okay, see, you're never going to know what's going to happen with a free legal advice Friday with McIntyre Law's Noble McIntyre. We got a couple of questions for you this morning.
All right.
So, by the way, if you ever have a question, ask Noble at TylerMedia.com.
Yeah, these came in. The first one says, if cargo falls off a semi and causes a wreck, who is responsible for it?
It happens, and I've had cases like that, and there are two people that you would file a lawsuit against. One would be the trucking company itself, because the driver, under the Federal Motor Carrier Act, every time they make a trip, before they start that trip, they have to do a walk around, and they have to make sure everything is safe, tires, air pressure, brakes, and load security, because you can't have stuff falling off
Right.
because people can get hurt. So you've got the trucking company itself, but you also have whoever loaded it, because sometimes trucks will show up with the rig and they'll just back up to a trailer and go because they've been contracted by somebody to take this load across the country to somewhere else. And they're not the ones, the person that has the load is not the same as the trucking company. And so in that event, you also have the load shipper. So you'll have the target defendant of the trucking company, the cab of the truck, and whoever, if it's a different party, whoever loaded that truck in the first place. So you have two potential defendants there.
Wow. Okay.
But it's a really good case. It's a really good case. And a lot of times, it's a good case from a liability standpoint. It's a tough case from a damages standpoint, because a lot of times when a load comes off, those result in fatalities because people
Right,
swerve. We've had situations where the product, like steel poles, go through the windshield and kill people. And so the injuries can often be fatal.
Yeah, that whole Final Destination
That sounds like
thing.
Final Destination.
man, that
I'm
is the
always
movie.
afraid of that
Yeah.
every
Those
time
logs,
now.
Yes.
The logs come off the
Yes.
log truck. Yeah, we would have sued the trucking company, the loggers, the chain manufacturer, everybody,
That's
and
what
the
I
guy
saw
that had
and
the
was,
dream.
I saw it and was horrified. Noble saw it and thought, ooh, I can win that one. I can win that one.
That's a case. That's
the
a
rest,
case.
The rest of us are like, I ain't
I
following
went to
that
that-
truck. And
I
he's
went
like,
to-
I'm going to get that one.
I went to the Final Destination movies for research purposes.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, if I swerve to miss a deer, a squirrel, or any other animal, and then I cause a chain reaction crash, who's at fault?
Funny story. I was in college at Oklahoma Baptist University, and one of the guys that lived next to us in the apartment complex borrowed his roommate's car, and he totaled it. He came back and totaled it. And I said, well, what happened? He goes, well, I swerved to miss something in the road. And I said, what was it? He says, a turtle. I said, what, did it like run right out in front of you? I mean, you swerved to miss a turtle? That turtle took 30 minutes to get to that spot. He swerved to miss a turtle. The answer to that question is you have a duty to maintain the proper operation of your car at all times. I told my kids when they were little, look, I love dogs. You don't swerve to miss anything unless it's a cow or a horse, because those can hurt you. Everything else you hit, because when you go to swerve, you don't have time really to look in your left mirror and your right mirror to see who's there, and you can cause a crash and you can hurt and kill somebody. And there have been people killed because people swerved to miss a cat or a squirrel, and it's not worth it. You drive straight ahead. It's unfortunate that animal is going to get hurt or killed, but it's better than killing a person. If you swerve and cause a chain reaction, you are ultimately responsible for everybody's injuries that were result.
Whoa.
It is the circle
Yep.
of life.
It is. Yes. Or the swerving of death.
Yes.
Something like
Please don't
that.
start an Elton John song, okay? We don't need that.
Can you
all
sing
right?
it for us?
No,
I'm not
no,
gonna do
no.
that.
No.
I won't
Circle
subject you
of
to
life.
that.
If it was a Cher song, she could do it.
That's true. I'm good at
Just put
Cher.
it to a share tune.
There you go.
You can do it.
All right, well, this is why we do Free Legal Advice Friday with McIntyre Laws, Noble McIntyre. Get the answers that you need, but, you can always reach out and reach Noble directly.
He's a nose biter. Call him.
Yeah.
777.
7,000.
He doesn't bite everybody's
No,
noses.
just
That's
my
a special request.
just my youngest daughter.
Who answers that phone when they call?
The 777
Yeah.
7000. I've got multiple people that work for me, but the main person would be Karina or Lisbeth.
Okay, so Karina or Elizabeth, we're sorry, because now people are going to call and say, hey, can I talk to the nose
Can I
biter?
talk to the nose
They're
biter,
gonna
please?
go, who? Jeremy Thurman. It's Jeremy Thurman. That's
Always spreading
That's what they
rumors.
do in Southeast Oklahoma. I don't get those people at all.
Just threw Jeremy completely under the bus. Okay, you know what? We got to get out of here.
Thanks for coming in,
Thanks
Noble.
for having me.
What a train wreck.